The joke that was crowned the funniest joke in the world comes from a study conducted in 2002 by British psychologist Richard Wiseman called Laugh Lab. Thousands of people participated, and the joke that received the most votes is as follows. Two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed over. The other guy pulls out his phone and calls emergency services. "My friend is dead. What should I do?" The operator replies calmly, "Take it easy. I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There's a silence. Then a gunshot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" This is a joke, but how can we explain that people laugh, even though it involves a scene of murder? Humor can be complex, especially when it involves potentially serious or disturbing situations like murder. Here are some explanations for why people might find this joke funny despite its seemingly dark premise. 1. Cognitive dissonance. Laughter can be a response to discomfort or cognitive dissonance. In this joke, the situation starts with a serious problem, the collapse and possible death of a friend, but the absurd reaction of the other hunter creates an unexpected contrast. This mismatch between the gravity of the situation and the inappropriate response causes a brief moment of confusion that the brain resolves through laughter. Dark humor or absurd humor often involves making light of situations that would normally be unacceptable or disturbing. The idea is to present these themes in such a bizarre or ridiculous manner that they become surreal and funny, allowing people to emotionally distance themselves from the seriousness of the subject matter. When people hear this joke, they know it's fictional. There's no real danger or victim, which allows the audience to suspend their disbelief and appreciate the situation for its absurdity without feeling true empathy or shock. If this situation were presented in a dramatic movie or in reality, it would be seen as horrifying, but in a joke context, it loses its emotional impact. Humor often relies on incongruity, the discrepancy between what one expects to happen and what actually happens. Here, the initial situation seems tragic, and we expect a serious reaction, but the hunter's absurd behavior, shooting his friend, creates a mental break, causing laughter as a reaction to the unexpected outcome. Dehumanization and emotional distance. The joke involves a form of dehumanization. The hunter acts as if he doesn't understand the value of human life. This caricature-like portrayal of the characters makes it difficult for the audience to empathize with them, reducing the emotional impact of the situation and allowing the focus to remain on the humor. Broken expectations. Effective jokes often break expectations. In this scenario, one would expect the hunter to respond rationally. Instead, his response is so incongruous, shooting his friend instead of checking his pulse, that it surprises the listener and elicits a nervous or relieved laugh in reaction to the absurdity. Humor as a defense mechanism. Laughter can sometimes serve as a defense mechanism to cope with anxiety or fear-inducing situations. By turning a potentially traumatic situation, like death, into a joke, the listener can approach the subject more lightly and reduce the anxiety associated with it. In short, people laugh at this joke because it presents a shocking but absurd scenario where the violence is not taken seriously. What would normally be considered horrifying is instead turned into a ridiculous action, allowing the listener to distance themselves from the gravity of the situation and view it through a humorous lens.